In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about whether or not this particular setup is worth it. So let's go. All right, everybody, here we are back in the barn again, and just a couple more episodes from here before I head out on the road to other places, and we'll have other episodes from there. It's a combo work and also vacation trip. It's kind of, yeah, it's a combo experience, which I like because I like to do things, but I also like to take a little bit of time off. So I'm going to say it's sort of a 40-60 or 60-40 in that respect, but it's going to be great, and stay tuned for some content from the road. All right. Kind of winding down on this exploration of gray and white bounce and the difference between the two. It was not something I had ever even thought about doing in terms of using gray as a bounce material. And I am back at it right here with this setup, which is kind of a modified version of what I did earlier this week. Now, I'm going to say this. I have tried some things where I've raised up and put this gray on an angle. It's not really mitigating the reflection issues when I'm turning here, when I'm wearing glasses. And it's mainly because it's such a large source. We've got a 6.5 foot by 7.5 foot source for our key. That's a lot of surface area. And, well, you know, that's the way it goes. So it's not tabled. It's not on an angle, really. It's pretty much just straight up and down in terms of its position. And the real problem in this space, and again, I've made some slight tweaks to the setup, but the main problem here is that it's all this gack and everything that I have in front of me on this far wall. If that back wall was black, then it would absorb a lot of things. I wouldn't get a lot of reflections that were returning stuff in my glasses, even when I'm not looking in the direction of the key. So is it worth it, all of this stuff? Sometimes it is, because it's the look and feel that you're going for. If I never wore glasses and I was the only person in this space, then I would probably say yes, because we wouldn't have any of those issues having to do with reflections. But if I'm using over my left shoulder a huge 150 centimeter softbox like this one from Nanlite, and I use soft diffusion in front of it. In fact, what's in front of that, maybe we'll talk about that in a future episode, is magic cloth, and then in front of that, bleached muslin from Cine milled. And I get it high enough up at an angle where I'm not catching that light hitting the front of the glasses, because that's kind of what's happening. It's not necessarily a haze, but it's not just the reflections. What's happening is it's not as clear. When I can get that light high enough and the source is still big but small enough that, well, here's an example from a previous episode with a similar type of setup with a smaller softbox than the one that's behind me. And you can see that it's very clear looking through these particular glasses. But because I have this light raking off of this big gray bounce, then we're having some issues. And those issues are not the reflections. The reflections are really happening from what's happening in front of me. I've got a tripod, I've got the teleprompter, I've got another monitor, I have that back wall, which is all white. And then when you have this combination of black and white and lights bouncing off of it, then you're going to start to see some little reflections inside of the glasses and sort of this hazy effect that's happening here. Now, I don't dislike this. I just feel like it's cleaner and it feels sharper when that light is up there for this particular space and with somebody who is wearing glasses. So what am I going to do? Well, I might leave this for a little while because I do overall like the look and feel. I have learned something about using gray as a bounce. Obviously, it absorbs a lot more light than white, but I do like the look and feel of what I'm getting. It's definitely something I will consider for certain projects and certain things that I'm doing, but this might just be too much of a lift to handle the problems when somebody's wearing glasses if they're creating content in a space like this all of the time. This sucker behind me probably was something like the Nanlite Forza 300B2, which would give me plenty of output. I'm probably going to be at 15 or 20 or 25% output through that big softbox to get the exposure I need, is more than likely the way I'm going to go. I don't mind setting up flags and nets and all of that kind of stuff, solids and nets and things like that. But just the idea of having to do so much to mitigate these reflection problems may be too much of a lift in this space with these glasses. Again, it's not horrible, but I'm looking for something else. That's what I got for you. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.